puppy mills, dog fighting, animal abuse and neglect. These are all very sad, very tragic, but also very real. So please listen as I explain to you about an organization that seeks all of our helps, anybody who can help, to put an end to these horrors faced by so many animals, including chickens, dogs, cats, horses, all the way up to marine animals. And pay close attention to find out what you as an individual can do to make a difference in the world of maybe one animal, maybe even hundreds of animals. I'd like to help you to see just how easy it really is for an individual like any of you to help aid the Humane Society in its mission to rescue animals from neglect and abuse. First, I'll be explaining what the Humane Society is and what it does. And I will talk about one of their current big fights in the world of animal cruelty, and that's against puppy mills and unlicensed animal breeders. And finally, I'll tell you several ways in which you can help and how you can be encouraged to help be an advocate for these animals who've been abused or neglected. So first of all, you're probably wondering, what is the Humane Society and what do they do? Well, the Humane Society works to prevent animal cruelty and neglect through its many services and educational programs throughout the communities. And the Humane Society promotes animal health care, and it also does help to prevent pet overpopulation, and will also help pet owners with their animals' behavioral problems, which is a big reason why a lot of people drop their pets off at the shelter. They give them up because dogs chew, go potty in the house. So it's really sad, but they're willing to, they think they can help the animals to overcome this. And the Humane Society of West Michigan not only offers pet adoption to qualifying individuals and families, but it offers follow-up care and classes for these pet adopters as well. And there are, like I said, classes to help with the behavioral problems, which is still a big reason why people bring their pets in. And also, according to the website, the Humane Society of West Michigan, classes are offered for kids and even summer camps for kids who maybe want to go into a career that involves helping animals or working with animals. So it's pretty cool. These and other programs, they do charge per person, per class, but this money goes directly to help the animals that are currently in the shelter, and also some of the programs that they have set up to help locally in the community. And in addition to the animal education that I kind of spoke about a little bit here, both the local and national branches of the Humane Society are involved in the fight against many types of animal cruelty. And according to the Humane Society of the United States website, the Humane Society continuously works to pass tougher legislation against people involved in any way with dog fighting, cockfighting, and puppy mills and unlicensed breeding. And these can all involve very tragic, very sad, very sick living conditions for a lot of animals. And this is a picture here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's of a horse that is starving. You can see its ribs. And they don't just help, cats and dogs. They do help with the cruelty that you'd be surprised. The Humane Society website states that a lot of American horses are being sold to foreign countries because horse meat is considered a delicacy there, and they're in the fight to make that stop. It's absolutely illegal. And they also join the fight against the killing and clubbing of baby seals, and this is often done by fishermen. There's an article in the New York Times that said 6 baby seals were found shot in the head off the coast of Massachusetts. They haven't caught anybody yet, but it does hold a fine of $100,000 per seal and a year in jail for whoever they hopefully do apprehend. And they believe it was probably the coastal fishermen who feel that the seals ruin their nets and eat too many of the fish, which goes into their profit margin. So as I said before, one of their biggest fights is to try to shut down the puppy mills, where both adult dogs and the puppies are forced to stay in little cages all crammed together. They don't have any time for socialization. They're not allowed to get out and play. The living conditions are not always very good. As you can see, they're crammed in there pretty tight. And according to another article in the Chicago Tribune, a lot of times the adult dogs that are bred are overbred and causes their health problems, and a lot of time it just causes their death. And this is just because the breeders want to make the maximum profit that they possibly can off of these dogs before they die. And in a New York Times article, it stated that the Humane Society of the United States discovered that even pet stores in rich neighborhoods such as Bel Air, California, lied to their customers, even celebrities, about where they got their dogs. It was discovered that a lot of these pet stores had gotten their dogs from puppy mills or from unlicensed breeders who had terrible living conditions for the dogs. And now I will come to what I feel is the most important part of my presentation. It's what can you do as an individual to help the Humane Society fight so many forms of animal cruelty and neglect. Well, first, let me tell you that according to the ASPCA website, 5 million to 7 million companion animals enter shelters every year, and that's from people, either strays or people who bring them there because they simply can't take care of them anymore. They have behavioral issues, whatnot. And it's estimated that 5 out of 10 dogs and 7 out of 10 cats in shelters are euthanized because there just simply aren't enough homes for them. Maybe people don't know exactly how to go through the process of adopting an animal, or they really don't understand what the Humane Society does and that there is that option. So it's up to people like us to make sure that we inform people and make informed decisions when we are thinking about possibly bringing a pet into our families. So as you may have guessed, one way that you can help save an animal is by adopting it from the Humane Society. If you're thinking about getting a pet, maybe first think about adopting one before you would consider going to the pet store, where you may not know where these dogs are coming from. They could be coming from puppy mills, could be coming from unlicensed breeders. Give it a try. See if go down and talk to your representatives at the Humane Society of West Michigan and see if maybe there's an animal there for you that you can save. And if you're unable to adopt a pet, of course there's other ways that you can help. You can volunteer with your time, or you can donate money. The money all goes directly into the care of animals and into the programs that we've discussed. That some are nationwide, but most of it stays in our community. And it helps to feed and maintain the animals that are currently in the shelters, in hopes that they'll find a loving home before it's too late, which is really sad. So please consider adopting a pet and giving your time and or money to help the fight against animal cruelty and neglect. And to sum up the info I presented, I first explained what the Humane Society is and what it does. Then I described some of the animal injustices and the Humane Society's fight against these with help from communities and individuals. And finally, I made a heartfelt plea for you to consider helping in any way you can to aid the Humane Society. And just think of those animals who are suffering right now, roaming the streets, starving, maybe in a home, but being abused or neglected. Or and it could be at the hands of their owners, it could be neighbors when they're outdoors. Just kind of give that a thought if you're going to maybe donate money this year or are thinking about getting a pet. I know that I've adopted 3 dogs from the pound myself over my lifetime. This was my last one. This was a yellow lab named Woofy. It's kind of a silly picture, but she's such a silly girl. She passed away last October, but she was the best dog that we've ever had. And she was 2 when we got her, and she was just about 10 years old when she passed away. But adopting from the Humane Society can really change your life and just save the lives of an animal, the life of an animal. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Justin Reith. I work with Missy, and I think she did a really good job kicking it off, getting our attention, and clearly stating what she was going to talk about. And then when she went from her transitions, I felt like her transitions at the beginning from one topic to the next were pretty smooth, and pretty fluent, and then it got a little bit rockier because of the phone interrupting. You know, that made it, it wasn't her fault, but it was a distraction, and she had a hard time coming back from those a couple of times, and so that made her transitions a little rockier. But she then did go back and, you know, reiterate what she had talked about, which was good because it helped kind of tie it all in together and lead into her conclusion. So I thought she did a pretty good job. So.
Yeah, that's what he said. Can I say ditto? Hi, I'm Betsy. I work with Missy. I agree with Justin. Caught attention forcefully immediately at the beginning. Maybe could have been a little more forceful, but did a good job with that. We knew from the beginning what her thesis was all about. She had a clear structure. She made it easy to follow her progression of ideas. Smooth transitions, and gave examples and used some good visuals. At the end, she did review her main points. We didn't answer questions or have questions, but I don't know if we needed to do that or not. She spoke very loud and clear enough that we knew what she was saying. Had adequate eye contact. That's improved a lot since the very first time she gave her first speech. So that's good. Had meaningful gestures, and she spoke just right, not too fast, not too slow, and appeared pretty organized and in control. And her presentation was about 10 minutes long as far as I could tell, and I think she was very successful in giving her presentation and achieving her purpose and what she was all about. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Barb. I work with Missy. I thought she caught my attention right away, especially with the subject matter, which is something near and dear to my heart, because, you know, having a pet, you would. And I thought it was really interesting. She presented it very clearly. Her outline was really good. She seemed to move from one subject matter to the other, I thought, really smoothly. She did have the interruption of the phone, but like it wasn't her fault, so it's kind of, but she did seem to get right back into it. I didn't feel like I missed anything because of that. Her visual effects were really good, I thought. The pictures she had were good pictures. And her main points, she reviewed them all really good at the end, so she kind of brought everything back together. She didn't answer things from the audience, but she spoke loud enough. I was able to understand everything she said. Her eye contact, I thought, was a lot better this time. She seemed to look at us more and not so much at the camera, which I liked a lot better. I didn't really notice she made a lot of gestures. She spoke at a good tempo, which I thought was really well. I mean, slowly enough so we understood, and she also, her expression was really good. When things were important to her, you could tell. And I thought the whole outline was really good, very organized. It's good.
My name is Natalie, and I work with Missy. I think Missy caught our attention right away based on the topic that she selected. And she had a clear structure, her thoughts were easy to follow, and she had a lot of pictures that kind of went along with what she was talking about. And she had smooth transactions. At the end of her speech, she reviewed all of her points, and she went over everything, which made it, again, and also made it more convincing. And we kind of feel like we have to donate now and try to help a pet or adopt a pet, because at times even Mrs. Voice seemed like she was going to start crying. So that must be something very dear to her. And I think her eye contact was a lot better this time, and she appeared quite organized and in control.